Okay, I think we're good. All right, Muslims. We're going to do a little mini lesson about Muslims because some Americans need a little mini lesson about Muslims. Some Americans don't understand Muslims like they should. They, us. Do they hate us? Are they a monolithic big group that all think and act the same way? Is us, are we a big monolithic group that all think and act the same way? Come on, that's stupid. Why would we even think like that? Is this a religious war of Muslims versus Christians? Or do Muslims hate our freedoms? Or do they hate us because we're not Muslim? Or is it perhaps more complicated than that? Let's not forget that after World War I, Western powers, including Great Britain and the United States and France, went into the Middle East and drew up new maps without not even caring who lived there or what different groups or tribal feuds there were, or even recognizing that there were different groups of people. We just drew up a new map. That would make me upset. That would make me mad at the West, whoever the West is. What about after World War II, when we went in and we gave away someone else's land to the Jews? I mean, not that we didn't need to help the Jews. We did. That's serious. But no, we're not even going to ask the people that live there first? Come on. How about later when our main concerns were playing a geopolitical chess game and treating the Middle East players like pawns, our main concern being oil interests, going in and overthrowing democratically elected leaders and installing dictators in their place. How about going in and not always helping when help is needed, but only helping when it serves our interests? That inconsistency would make me upset. So, as we dive into why they might hate us, let's look at how history is divided into 3 different time periods. The classical time period, prior to Christ, before the Common Era, the medieval time period, at the beginning of the modern era, the Common Era, and perhaps some of you have, knights and castles and the Black Plague. Come on. Some of you have eaten at medieval times restaurant, perhaps. And then the modern times, where we live now. What was the dividing point? What was it that divided medieval times from the modern times? It was the invention of one thing, Gutenberg's printing press in 1450. Why was this the most important invention of all time? Probably. Why was this so important? Until we invent, of course, the time machine to put us back on the right timeline. Why was this the most important thing? As a matter of fact, we couldn't do that without this. We couldn't have had any of our scientific advancements without this. But the Gutenberg printing press was the most important invention of all time because it enabled the people, to spread ideas. Ideas about what? Ideas about science, art, the New World, Columbus. But one of the most important ones was new ideas about religion. The printing press enabled Martin Luther to spread his list of 95 things he didn't like about the Catholic Church around all of Europe and started the birth of the Protestant Reformation, protesting against things that he thought needed to be reformed within Christianity, flaws that Christianity had, bad things that it was doing. Arguably, people then thought they were bad, and people in the modern world think that they were bad too. So, what sort of ideas did the Renaissance and Reformation help bring to life? I don't know. Ideas that in the modern world we enjoy, like equal rights, popular sovereignty, separation of church and state, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. Things that we enjoy, things that people on the right timeline all enjoy, worldwide. I mean, let's not forget, maybe we're living in the postmodern era now or the modern era, but we do know that we're on the wrong timeline. But that's another video that we'll riff on later. But the point is, I've seen the other timeline. I've seen that they have mosques right next to gurdwaras, right next to temples, right next to churches. They've got it down. They've got diversity down. They embrace diversity. We're still struggling with it, which is evidence that we're on the wrong timeline. They're not struggling with this sort of interreligious dialogue, interreligious diversity. We are. More evidence that we're on the wrong timeline. So here's the idea. We need to do things. We don't need to ask people passing through customs, passing through immigration, are you Muslim or not? We don't need to make a ban on 7 Muslim countries and say that it's not a Muslim ban, but then make exceptions for Christians, making it obviously a Muslim ban. We can't look at a list of 7 countries that President Obama made of 7 poor countries where terrorism might be growing, and just to tell Americans who might be traveling there that you got to look out and watch out for yourself, take a little extra precaution if you're going to these 7 countries, and then turn around and say, look, President Obama made a list of people that we should ban. No, because all that does is add fuel to the fire of certain Muslims, a small percentage of Muslims that want to live in medieval times. In the medieval time period, before equal rights, women's rights, civil rights, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. You see what I'm saying? So what are we going to ask people at immigration? Are we going to ask them, do you want to live in the medieval times or do you want to live in the modern times? How does that even work? We can't ban people from those. What a stupid idea to begin with. And I think that part of the problem was this misunderstanding. I recall Sam Harris on Bill Maher the other night said it's not a religion war, not a war of religion, it's a war of ideas. These are the ideas he's referring to. And newsflash, most Muslims in the world enjoy these rights, enjoy these ideas. So we need to help the Muslims that like these ideas. We need to give them fuel. We need to help them. We need to give them refuge. Not these ones. When ISIS heard of Donald Trump's ban, you know what they called it? The blessed ban. And why would they consider that ban a blessing? Because they use it as a recruitment tool to point to say, hey, look, see, it really is a Muslim versus the West war. It really is a Muslim versus Christian war. It really is a religious war. Because Donald Trump is obviously singling out Muslims and making exceptions for Christians. Come on, we don't need to give them fuel. We need to give these ones fuel. Because how stupid would it be, how tragic would it be if through some stupid ban like this, we banned the next Muslim Martin Luther? Let's not do that. I'm reminded of a story about the Rabbi Hillel. When he was asked by someone who was thinking of converting to Judaism to explain the entire Torah while standing on one leg, and he said, that which is hateful unto you, do not do unto others. That is the whole Torah. All the rest is commentary. Let us not do what is hateful unto us. Because I know that if I was running away from terrorists, if I was running away from a gang of hoodlums that blew up my town and blew up my church and blew up my schools and my hospitals and my libraries and ancient artifacts and blew everything up, if I was running away from them and seeking the refuge and the help of another good, powerful, big country that could help me, and they told me, no, you can't come in, I would hate that. Let's not do that.